Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do the Fantastic Four 360 by Marvel Comics. Comic is not really in the best condition. A lot of bends and it's also this one here. It's ripped, but it's also I got it for $1. So not I can't complain much. Anyway, so it seems that the Fantastic Four came out of space and they crashed it here because this ship was not equipped to have as Reed call it, a planetary landing. So they deliberately let it crash here on this remote island, on the South Sea island. So Reed, stretches himself if there is, something on this island, and he sees some glimpse in the distance. So he asks Johnny to check it out. So Johnny goes there, and there's there's an older plane here. Couple crashed here years ago, and also empty cages with animals. And he's just checking on the pilot, but of course the pilot is, not so fortunate as them. Alicia gets attacked suddenly by, I guess, one of those animals, while Reed and Ben here try to, get the shuttle out of the spacecraft. Sue jumps in. Oops, a little bit too soon, sorry. So Sue jumps in and saves, of course, Alicia's life. And they examine it that this, creature is not coming from this area. So this, I believe, an Asian cheetah that doesn't belong here. So Johnny comes back and he's reporting what he has seen, with the animals and the spacecraft and the aircraft, meanwhile, while they're just analyzing what's happening there's some kind of a shadow comes out and disappears in the jungle. I wonder what that is. So suddenly, not really suddenly. So Reed says, "Listen up, everybody. While I managed to take out the shuttle, to get the shuttle operational, the 5 of us exceed its maximum weight capabilities. Ben and one other will stay behind until we can return with our pogo plane." So Alicia, says, "Hey, I want to stay because we have a chance to get reacquainted." But that really upsets Johnny because, this was a storyline when Ben went to Battle World, stayed there. Johnny thought, Ben was, not coming back or is dead. So he fell in love with Alicia. Had a relationship with her, but it was not the real Alicia. It was actually a Skrull, and but he still, he knows this is the real Alicia, but he still has feelings for Alicia he thought he married or something. That was a whole drama because Ben came back eventually. So so we skipped that stuff, but it's still here. It's lingering, and So Sue decides to step in because he knows how Johnny's feeling. And so Johnny says, "It's crazy to leave a blind girl in a jungle." No sense of arguing, Alicia. It's obvious that the boys have already made up their minds. So Reed says, "I wouldn't worry. They have plenty of food and I expect to be back in the morning. What could possibly go wrong?" Well, a lot. So we have a gorilla here, and that shadow stalks him and eventually, takes him over. And now we have a completely different creature here that's going to be posing a danger to the rest of the Fantastic Four. Well, Ben and Johnny here having, a moment together. He's doing the fireworks here and setting up camp. Well, Benny is, getting the wood. And so he says, "Reed left us a whole mess of supplies. Everything from peanut butter and banana sandwiches to a freeze-dried turkey dinner with all its fixings." And Johnny says, I'm not hungry." "Yeah, me neither. Listen, kid, I know I ain't a buddy's idea, an Landers. I'm not sure what that means, but okay. But I'm here. I'm here if you want to talk. I just don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say, Ben, especially to you. You could start at the beginning," he says. Okay. So Johnny says, I never intended to steal your girl, Ben. I didn't want to fall in love with her. I just kind of snuck up on me. You were away on Battleworld at the time and never really believed you come back ever. That makes two of us, kid. Intellectually, I know that the woman I love was a total different person, but it doesn't stop my heart from trying to jump out of my throat every time I see the real Alicia. And Ben says, as far as this Alicia concerned, she's still my girl, but all I see is your wife. What a mess. Too bad real life ain't as easy going as the funny papers. Okay, but then something happening. They hear a sound, and then there's a boulder coming out of nowhere, destroying the fire. Johnny says, that boulder must weigh a few 100 pounds. So much for a cozy clam bake. So they're gonna split up and see what's out there. And Ben thinks that is really strange because there's no animals are evolving with strength like that. And he finds the gorilla that throwing the boulder. And he says, knock it out, Bonzo. You're disturbing the neighbors. So the gorilla attacks him immediately. Oops, that's the wrong one. But, Ben is, he's going toe-to-toe with the Hulk. He can handle gorilla. And but he gets a pounding here and there, but he's way too strong, of course. But then suddenly the gorilla is jumping out of the way constantly. And Ben finds it strange to say, how can a dumb animal like you do that? And he also sneaks up on behind him. So he throws him over his head. And then the gorilla just stands still as if he, wants to get punched. And then this is happening. So the alien goo takes over Ben. Now, on the first thought, you could say, hey, this looks like, the symbiote, right? That Spider-Man, infected Spider-Man. Was it infected? Well, you could take over. And but it's actually not, which I found a little bit, well, not weird, but we have a lot of, alien beings that can take over, and also with alien goo and stuff. It's a little bit similar here and there. But moving on, so Alicia, Sue, and Rhea is coming back, and they talk about the fact that the Skrull took over her life, and she doesn't have her apartment anymore. So Alicia, can stay now here, and I want to say the Baxter Building, but they call it the Four Freedom Plaza, which I think is a stupid name. I don't know. It just doesn't fit. I just always think of the headquarters of the Fantastic Four as the Baxter Building. It just stuck with me for years, and that's not going to change. Anyway, so Johnny is flying around, and he finally finds the thing, and he noticed that something is off, and he says, hey, Ben, what happened? Your complexion is all dark and slimy, like you fell into a pool of oil. I have been transformed by a force from far beyond this pretty planet. That isn't Ben's voice. Something apparently seized control of him. But how and why? So, hang on, partner. I don't know what's going on, but I get the thing straight. This flame lasso should teach your playmate the errors of his ways. But, this is the thing we're talking about, or, well, he just grabs... No, it's not really the thing, isn't it? So he grabs some, sand from the ground, and he just attacks Johnny. But, Johnny is moving out of the way, and he's blasting him with a Nova Blast, if you can call it that. And that rips off the alien slime of Ben's body. But Ben is all groggy and such. And he says, just look out, man. It's just, there's some alien thing, and it's seeping over people, seeps over people and animals, controls them. So Johnny is now done for because the alien is now taking him over. And he says, move it, kid, move it. Don't let him touch you. And then we see this. So I thought to myself, hey, wait a minute. I know this guy. This is Despair, from Marvel. He's a let's say, dream horror character. But that's not the case. This is really a new alien, being that can take over people's minds, etc. And what I mean with the character Despair, well, I just looked it up just to show you, how he looks like. See the resemblance? He has also that some alien goo-like stuff on him. Well, that's probably not the real best images, but you can see here Despair. It looks like him, he just needs the cape to finish it off. Real cool. But so moving on. So this creature says, "Your warning came too late." And Ben says, "Leave him alone," and he attacks him. But, the creature's using Johnny's body. He says, "My star-born race seeks out the greatest warriors of each world, using him as a tools against other brothers, or against his brothers." Well, okay. "While you possess incredible strength, your young friend is even more destructive." And the thing, blast him with a shockwave, and he temporarily extinguished the flames of this alien creature. So Ben jumps in right quickly and wants to clobber him, but then this is happening. So he is pretty smart, this alien, and accidentally Ben knocks his friend's face, and he says, I barely managed to pull my punch in time. I could have killed him." An interesting dilemma, isn't it? You cannot strike at me without fear of injuring your companion. You are bound by loyalty and friendship, but I have no such restraints. That is why my race was successfully conquered every world, every culture we have invaded. So he says, "Nice speech, sonny boy." And so, of course, Ben is not giving up, but, this alien using Johnny's flame is way too powerful. Ben does a strategic withdrawal, so he dives into this water and, try to be as under the water as long as he can possibly be. So he loses this guy, and he's going to the spaceship. Now, the spaceship here has a fuel canister or fuel compartment, not entirely sure. And, the alien is back hunting Ben. So he says, "Hey, Harvey, come and get me. Give me your best shot. So you have finally accepted the utter hopelessness of your situation. I shall put you out of your misery quickly and as quickly and painlessly as possible." So he's just throwing fireballs. Is Johnny doing that still, throwing fireballs? I don't think so. So, and then this happens. Of course, looks fantastic, by the way. The explosion looks really, really cool. The art in general looks really cool. I must say, this is probably one of the best eras when it comes to Fantastic Four comics. Although, in my personal opinion, I like the 80s, mid-90s, or begin 90s a little bit better when it comes to storytelling and art. But that's more like a personal preference. So yeah. Meanwhile, Reed comes back and he says a giant fireball erupted from it. What on earth could have caused such a major conflagration? That's a word salad. And Ben is here. Feels like my arm feels like it's being busted. And he says, he shouts at Johnny, "Hey, where are you, boy?" And so a figure comes from the flames, and it's Johnny. And he says, "Remember my Corvette? You can borrow it any time," which is cool. So Ben is very happy. He says, "Yahoo! Yahoo! We did it! We beat him! The alien must have been incinerated in the blast. Why would you pull such a crazy stunt, you big ape? It's a miracle we survived. Picky, picky." And then, Reed comes and he says, "If I know old rubber legs, we're in for a real ear grinding. He'll be furious when he finds out how close he and Sis were becoming the Fantastic Two." So what happened here? Says Reed. I thought you two were out here on enjoy a relaxing evening on the beach. Can I leave you alone for a single night? Well, what do you have to say for yourself? Are you going to tell me what you've been doing? Nothing special, just a little bit of male bonding. Ain't definitely wasn't all that cracked up to be." And that's the end. I like this. I like this a lot. I also like that, the tension between Johnny, although we didn't see it much here, but in other comics as well, they finally, I hope so, made peace with each other and find a way to make this work with, between them and Alicia. Yeah, great stuff. Cool. Yeah, that was a cool episode. I like that. I wonder where the creature came from and if there is more out there that we are going to see in other comics. But so far, this is the only time that I've seen him. Yeah, I don't know. So if you guys have more information about this, let me know in the comments. And, like my video as always. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.